I was writing an in-class essay when a pencil rolled off the edge of my table and fell on the floor. Teacher, get out! Hi guys, welcome back to the Quora Zone. Today we'll be reading from What is One Ridiculous Reason for Which You Got Kicked Out of Class. The next post is from Syed Sohail. For dropping my pencil on the floor. Yes, you read that correctly. He was a substitute teacher. I was writing an in-class essay when a pencil rolled off the edge of my table and fell on the floor. Teacher, get out! Me. What do you mean? I said, get out! You're disturbing the class. Me. I don't understand. I dropped my pencil, that's it. Teacher, you understand me perfectly. I said, get out! Me. Why though? You shouldn't have dropped that pencil. It makes too much noise and disturbs the class. I had no option but to leave. But you want to know the funniest part? As I was walking out, he dropped his stainless steel bottle on the floor, and the whole class looked up to see what happened. Sir, I think you're the one disturbing the class. Literal karma right there. The next post is from Brenda Alameda Santos. Well, once I was kicked out of class for sharpening my pencil. Yep, for sharpening my pencil. Yeah, it was pretty dumb really. I was in second grade and one day my teacher had to talk with a coordinator or something. I don't remember, but it's not important. What matters is that she had to get out of the classroom for a couple of minutes. You see, whenever she did that, she would pick one random student to take care of the class for her and report anything bad students would do. You know, getting up, messing with their friends, anything that involved not doing the task that was supposed to be done. That time, she picked a girl called Brighter. You see, me and Brighter, we all hated each other, basically. She always picks fight with me, which wasn't hard in those days. I had some anger issues, and I wasn't supposed to do anything about it because of that whole boys shouldn't eat girls thing, which, in my opinion, is bullcrap to a 7-year-old, since there are basically no differences between children's bodies at that age. And yes, I know hitting other people is bad regardless of gender, but keep in mind they were talking about a little boy who had to do anger management therapy when he was about 7 or 8 years old. So at that time, he didn't give an F. I digress. Anyway, on that day, I was calmly doing my math lesson when my pencil tip broke. So naturally, I was going to sharpen it. I had one of these. So of course I had to get up and throw away the wood shavings on a little trash bin close to the door. And it was all fine until my teacher came back and Brighter told her I got up and walked around the classroom. When I told the teacher I only went to the bin to throw away the shavings, she said it didn't matter because I should have asked for permission, which, by the way, was never required at all before and after that day, and kicked me out for the following hour. So I was having to explain to the monitors that I was outside because my teacher kicked me out of my classroom for sharpening my pencil. Our next post is from Zandra Z. For trying to keep warm during winter. So I live in Australia and 40 degrees, 107 Fahrenheit stays the norm, usually humid and horrible. This particular school had 2 uniforms, a formal that for girls consisted of a white blouse and a skirt, and a sport uniform which was school branded shorts or tracksuit pants and a polo. Now for junior secondary, in the formal uniform, no tights, long socks or long pants were allowed at all. For girls in winter, we had to freeze. So this day was about 6 degrees, 42.6 Fahrenheit, extremely cold for us living in tropical weather. It had been cold the last few days, and it was what they called a formal Friday. So that morning I wore my blouse as usual, but instead of the skirt I wore my tracksuit pants and got my dad to write me a note. I arrived at school and my form teacher let me off agreeing it was cold. I went to my first class, math, and that teacher let it go as well. Then I had science, and it wasn't the actual teacher that sent me to the behaviour support room. He's one of the 3 really nasty teacher aides we had in the class. Apparently, it isn't ladylike to wear pants. I'm wearing pants. It's cold, man. It's winter here in Australia. So I went off, kicked out of my class, and condemned to the room in which they send people who carry drugs or weapons around our school, as well as those who have small Nike ticks on their socks. The ever grumpy BSR teacher started going off at me for trying to be warm, and I told her calmly that I wasn't going to freeze because of their sexist ideologies. She sent me to the office. The office lady gave me a copy of the dress code. At this point, I was cold, angry, and missing my favourite class, home economic, which is cooking class. I told her to shove the dress code up her ass and got called into the deputy's office. She made me apologise and sent me home, but not before calling my dad, who told her it was idiotic that we had to wear skirts and frizz. That's how I was kicked out of my class for trying to keep warm, like any normal human being. Our next post is from Keith Vin. Actually, my third grade teacher kicked herself out of my class instead of me. I was bored and likely talking during math. She asked Mr. Keith, "Would you like to teach the class?" I replied, "Yes." She brought me to the front of the class where the board was filled with two-digit math additions we were learning. I picked up a book and started teaching where she left off, asking the class for other answers and working problems. She had lost control of the class to a third grader. She got huffy and slammed a book and came to the front of the class and said, "Mr. Keith, if you're going to teach, you have to be able to teach very difficult math." She proceeded to put up two numbers that looked a mile long each, likely 10 digits each. I started talking to the class about how to add longer numbers. She muttered something I can't recall, to which I famously replied, "You teach, Alice." Not sure how I knew that was her first name, but I was on a roll. She started crying and left the classroom in my care. We saw her leave the building from the class window. In 15 minutes, it was a lunch bell. I dismissed the class for lunch. No problems until I got home for lunch. It was a 10-minute walk, and my mum got a call from the principal who wanted to speak to us. I would have loved to have a tape of that day and that conversation. Our next post is from Alexandra Lawrence. I kissed a girl in front of the entire class. In grade 7 drama class, we had an improvisation workshop. Essentially, you had to get on stage and the teacher would assign you a fairy tale that you would then have to act out. To everyone's amusement, my teacher assigned Sleeping Beauty to my group. I was the prince. The first half of our performance was perfectly innocent, but when it came to the scene where the prince kisses the princess, instead of giving the princess the hug, like any sane student, I clapped my hand over my friend's mouth and promptly kissed the back of my hand. When I turned around, I just saw 20 shocked faces gaping at me. The teacher was bright red. They all thought I kissed her, and in front of my extremely religious conservative teacher, no less. "That was incredibly inappropriate," she said in this angry, strained tone of voice. "Alex, follow me outside." "I didn't actually kiss her," I protested. "I covered her mouth with my hand. It is just good acting." Long story short, she did not believe me. To this day, I'm sure that she is convinced that I am an exhibitus and a pervert and a lesbian. Our next post is from Skaz. Our school had the brilliant idea of giving us an A4 light green history book and an A4 light green science book. In my normal lack of enthusiasm for school, I picked out the wrong one. Entered science and realized my mistake. Sir, I brought the wrong book. Sorry, can I have some paper, please?" "May I?" It's may I, not can I. "Okay, may I have some paper, please?" "You may not. Use your book." Yeah, sir, I brought my history book, my mistake, sorry." "You did that to undermine my authority. Get out!" No science. Bonus. Yep, I got kicked out for asking for paper, so I could do my work. Alright guys, that is all from the Quora Zone today. Once again, I hope you guys really enjoyed these stories. So you can like, comment and subscribe for more of these crazy stories. Let me know in the comments what your favourite one was, if you relate to any of these. Like getting kicked out for asking for a piece of paper or sharpening your pencil, anything like that. Let me know in the comments below. You can put it in my email and I'll share those stories on my channel.